Okay, Charlie, this meeting is being recorded by Channel 18.
Oh, okay.
So in attendance, Jacqueline, myself, and you. And we'll call the meeting to order at 3 p.m.
Did Barry show up?
No, I mean, I sent him emails, I tried to keep him in the loop, but I don't think he's gonna be back, to be honest. He had such serious problems with his hearing.
How about the, what was it, the selectman that's,
I sent her an email, but, nope.
I've been sending some of the emails to this Roseanne Shapiro. She put in a request to join, and I don't know if you've been.
I have not heard from Roseanne.
She didn't want me sending it. She says, I'm not a member yet. And I says, you can come to the meetings ahead of time, we welcome you.
Right.
But I couldn't, every time I would send her an email, it was annoying her. So I stopped.
All right, well, then don't annoy her. All right, we're gonna go through the agenda. There is nobody from the public. All right, so the first thing on the agenda is to take a look at our new charge from the selectmen.
What do you mean, our new charge?
That thing.
Hi, Megan.
Hey, she's made it!
Hi, I made it and I came to apologize. I'm dealing with my dog.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna cry if I say much more. Yeah, he's really not doing well, and
Oh, how old?
he's 12 and he's a lab, but he's got, it's just been kind of like
Yep.
flicking a switch.
Yeah.
So we had the vet because we brought him to the vet earlier, and so today he really just can't move. So
You're gonna have to go sit with them.
yeah, so we don't, right, so I just,
What a
but I
terrible
wanted
time of
to.
year.
And actually, I said to my dog.
Valerie, who was that just arrived?
Oh, sorry.
It's Miss Kavanaugh.
Oh, great.
She can't stay though. She's just checking in.
Another member. I didn't know you were
She's a
Julie
selectman.
Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Well, I voted for you, so I know who
Oh,
you are.
Thank you so much.
But I
yes.
didn't know you were.
And I'm your liaison, and I really was hoping, because I know
Right,
that,
right.
the charge has changed and
Right,
all
right.
that, and so I
Yeah,
wanted
we're gonna be discussing that, and I'll be doing a presentation in January 3rd.
Yeah, to us.
To the selectmen, and,
Yeah.
we'll talk about all of that and
Yeah.
make suggestions.
So, will you be able to come on January 3rd?
Oh, I'll be at the meeting.
But she's a selectman, she has to be there.
I'll be there.
Ah, that's
Yes.
true. Well, it's not going to be this kind of
No,
meeting.
she won't be with us, she'll be up
No,
there.
I mean, right.
Okay.
And I know that the other email was about, Barry, was it?
Yeah, Barry, he hasn't responded to me.
Okay.
I'm thinking he's not going to be
Private.
participating.
So I'm gonna share that
Okay.
with the board and the town administrator and
Yeah.
everybody, just to say.
I
we
don't
need
wanna
to go-
fire him, but I
No.
haven't heard back from
But
him.
we need to go through the official
Yeah.
steps of having him submit a letter, and,
Right,
you know,
right,
or
right.
whatever. So I do know about
Good,
that.
good. His hearing is so bad that
So-
he gets so frustrated going to meetings, he can't do it.
Right, yeah, no worries.
Julie,
Yeah?
this is Charlie
This is
Check. I'm down in North Carolina.
Oh, hi Charlie, how are you?
Good. I've been in contact with, there's another climate action committee. It's a kind of a volunteer group
Right,
in Harwich, and I've been trying to recruit some of them to join us and be more effective for the town of Harwich. Maybe you could contact them and
Yeah.
see if you could encourage them. And
I'm a
They're
member.
a whole group of people. They
Yeah.
claim that they don't want to do it, but one of them, Roseanne Shapiro, has actually applied.
yes.
I was trying to get the rest of them, but maybe if you talk to them, you could encourage them to do that, because that's what we really need. We need a bigger group to do all this work.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
no, and we did talk about that as a board, so yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you that needs to be done, and.
Good.
So those are the two other things, in
Right.
addition to,
Right,
the new
right.
charge, obviously, so I will work on the Barry Worth piece,
Okay.
and, if you wanna just sorta you can let me know
Absolutely.
any other ways, call me,
yeah,
text
yeah.
Well,
me.
Julie,
Yeah.
before you go though, one thing, I was on the MPO down in Florida, Metropolitan Planning for 10 years, and the way I got on that is in Longboat Key, they put an ad in the Observer they wanted volunteers, and if the selectmen could put an ad in the Harwich Chronicle and say we need new members to solve all this climate change problems, and we need you to come forward and help us.
Yeah.
Maybe that would get people on board too.
Well, yeah, and I will talk, in terms of the protocol, I'm not on the interview committee either, so I need to
Right.
check to
Check
see
with them.
how are they doing their stuff, so
Yeah.
I will.
We're
I will
working on it,
follow up
Charlie.
on that, But,
Well, good
so
luck with-
I just wanted to stop by and apologize
Yeah.
for not being able to say, but.
Well,
I
just, I have been through it several times. It is the worst.
Yeah, it is, and so our
Yeah.
12, that's what I was gonna say, is
Yeah.
12 years ago, we
Yeah.
went through this with our other lab.
Yeah.
And
It's the worst.
It is, and
It's the worst part of having a dog.
It is, and you're never ready to.
No.
And you know that the day will
I
come,
know.
but you're never.
Doesn't help.
So anyways, but.
It's
All right,
the
thank you
same
for
with
stopping by.
humans.
Yeah.
It's true, it's
Yeah.
true, and
Exactly
all
the
of it is
same.
so,
Yeah.
and I've been through too many of that, I'm the only one left in my family,
Oh.
so,
Yeah.
anyways.
Well, thank you for
Thank
stopping
you.
by though.
All
and
right,
and letting
thanks
us-
so much,
Yes.
and do you expect more to
No.
come?
No,
This is it.
Really?
Yeah.
So just the three of you?
Well, the two of us now. Oh, three. Oh, yeah, Charlie, yeah. Yeah. It's been like that for a while.
All right.
COVID kind of set us back a little
I
bit,
know.
because we couldn't really meet well and couldn't recruit or anything like that, but
And
we're,
are you going to be meeting normally, at 3 o'clock on?
well, I like 3 o'clock. I don't know if 3 o'clock works for you, because I have a lot of
occasionally it
evening
doesn't,
stuff
but,
going on, but.
occasionally it doesn't for me, but normally, yes.
Okay, and if it
Okay.
doesn't, we can switch it
Yeah.
around, but.
I'm just bringing that up because we also have new help with technology, we need to
Yes,
update the website.
Jamie stopped in and
And-
chit-chatted with us, and
and-
I asked her about maybe us going on Channel 18 and, making an appeal or answering questions about energy and, the blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Is this a good time for getting support?
So I think, that was gonna be one of my comments, is for me, it's hard to make it 3 o'clock, because I work full-time.
When can you make it?
Well, you guys don't have to
Yeah.
go around me, I
Right.
can figure out, because I wouldn't come to every meeting
Right,
anyway.
right,
So what
exactly.
works for the committee is what you
Right.
should focus on.
Yeah, but I would like you to, because you know the strings, how to pull them. You can advise us beautifully, you can bring your input, and I value that.
Oh, no, thank you, I appreciate it, and I will,
Right.
any questions, and I will certainly attend some meetings, but what I'm saying is whatever you can do
Right,
to get
right,
enough people.
right.
So you might find that this could be a fine time if people
Right.
are retired,
Exactly.
but
and
if they're not, it's
Right.
gonna be a hard time.
Right, because the retired people don't want to drive at night.
Right,
Um,
so you're gonna have to see who.
So you have to see who signs up. If it's a
Right.
lot of retired older people,
Mhm.
then you gotta have afternoon meetings. If it's younger people that work, then you gotta have to have evening meetings.
But I will follow up with both the interview committee and, the town administration in terms of how are we advertising, how are we getting it out there that
Right.
we need this, and
Right.
also, who else do we have other people to consider?
Exactly.
And I will also follow up on the Barry work.
Thank you.
Is,
Thank you.
is email a good means to communicate with you, or you don't like that?
Yes, no, email is good. What I'm working on now is, I actually just was down there last week to get the paperwork. I need to get my email set up on my phone. Because currently, the only way I'm seeing my email is on the laptop that I have,
Yeah.
which again, I'm working all day, so then
Yeah,
going
it's
to
at
that
home,
laptop. I would
Doesn't
rather
work.
be on my
Yes.
phone, so I could be more immediately responding.
Yes.
And currently, that's not, so I have to work with I think, we have Barnstable County
Right.
working with us on technology
Good.
now, so that's what I
So
gotta get.
occasionally you could attend a little bit our meetings.
Mhm.
And what time would be convenient for you?
Well, I would say, if you needed to keep it at this time, if you
Mhm.
needed to keep it at 3 o'clock, if it was on what is
Today's
today?
Thursday.
I can't- So I don't have a standing meeting currently on a Thursday at 3 o'clock, so I would use that as my lunchtime and I could come,
Okay. We'll
so
keep
don't
that in
rule the
mind.
time
Yeah.
out, it's just
Okay.
that,
Okay.
obviously if it's after 5, it's easier
Yes,
for me,
yes.
but don't use
Right,
me as
right.
the reason.
We'll have to
Okay.
just, once we get a few more people, we
Yeah, and you
can
get a
figure it
better
out.
feel, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
So-
thank you, Julie.
Okay, thank you, take care.
All right, Okay, Charlie, Julie had to leave, so we're back at it. So Charlie, do you have a copy of the new charge?
Yes, I do. I've got it right in front of me here.
Okay, so
What do you call the new charge?
that's the thing they sent us. This is what they want us to be now. Do you not have a copy of that?
Thank
If you want, I can read it to her.
No,
we
I'm
got
okay.
it, we got it.
I'm okay.
Okay, so let's look at let's look at the title first. I don't know why they added utility back in there because we got rid of utility the last time. So my suggestion is to have them switch utility for energy.
I agree with you
I
because
agree.
we're attending all these meetings with the all Cape Energy Committees.
Right.
Everybody else is an energy committee.
And that's why
they've
we
added
changed
on
it.
the they've added on the climate action. That's no problem. It's just, I agree it should be energy because that's basically what it's all
Yeah,
about.
and I think was it, I think we should-
Utility sounds like we're in charge of Comcast or something. or
which
other,
we
or-
were at one time.
Or Verizon, and we're not.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be in charge of that because that's not an
Right, right.
energy user.
Right, so I'm gonna recommend that they change utility to energy. Everything else is fine. And I'm glad they added climate action to it because I have to tell you, there have been, back in the past, the town, vis-à-vis the selectmen, were not really that interested in the climate. All they were really interested in was how we're gonna save money. So if you talked about solar, they're good with solar as long as it saved us money. They really didn't care about the carbon and all that kind of.
Okay.
If you go to any of those net zero conferences, it's all related. You have to reduce the carbon.
Right.
footprint.
We understand that, but I think that it's the Board of Selectmen they're finally coming round to that.
Okay.
All right, so they want us to have 7 members. Good luck with that. We will work as hard as we can.
But maybe you could contact this Roseanne Shapiro. I know she's going to try to join our group. She wasn't a member of that. Maybe she has a contact in the whole
Can you,
climate-
Charlie,
There is a climate action committee in Harwich.
Yep.
And they're working on the same thing, and they ought to be part of us. We all ought
Well,
to be
Jacqueline,
together.
Charlie, Jacqueline is a member of that group, so she's on it. She will relay that to them. If you would like to forward me this woman's contact information, maybe if I contact her, she won't feel annoyed.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
Charlie, Roseanne Shapiro went through the interviewing process, completed it yesterday, and she's waiting for an approval or disapproval.
Okay.
So I'm sure she will join us.
Good.
Yeah, the selectmen will vote on it their next meeting,
That would be Monday, right?
Monday. So they'll vote on it on Monday.
They are voting on Monday, so Roseanne will become a member as from Monday. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're good on that.
I received an
I want
email.
the rest of the committee on here too.
You mean the rest of the Harwich Climate Change Network?
Well, they have to live in Harwich.
Yeah. well,
Yeah, we all live in Harwich, but at first, we thought that the Board of Selectmen were merging the Energy Committee with the Climate Action Network.
You don't want that.
Well, we were completely wrong, but that's what we thought. That's what we thought. And we all went through the process of thinking, would we like that to be the case? Would we join the Energy Committee? And the only person who was clear that she wanted to join the Energy Committee was Roseanne,
Right.
and she did.
And she did. All right.
So I don't think we can recruit any more people, unfortunately, because there are many who are phenomenal.
Yeah, but not at this time.
Maybe
It could
later.
change in the future, who
True.
knows, but at this time,
True.
we're good. And we will work on recruiting over time. The selectmen, I think, are gonna give us a little help with that. Like you said, putting an ad in the paper or something like that, might do. So, all right, so we will be working on getting 7 people to be on our committee. I don't think we'll see Barry Worth anymore, so if Roseanne does join us, that'll be 4. So we'd only need 3 more people.
Valerie, before we continue, I thought you said you had work elements and that you were resigned as the chairman, and then when you published the meeting minutes or the agenda, you put down that you were the chair again. Are you back being a chair
I will
now?
stay the chair until we get up to our 7 people, and because they also want us to have 3-year terms.
Uh-huh.
So,
So you are the chair then again?
yes,
right?
and I will try to get this committee functioning with the right amount of people, and we'll all have to start our 3-year terms. We'll have to stagger it at the beginning so we don't all disappear at the same time. I have to say that I'm on a lot of committees at church, and it's a very small church. And we tried to have term limits. It did not work because there was never anybody else to take your place. So 3-year terms, I'm going to ask the selectmen if this is a hard and fast rule, because we could all reach our 3-year limit and have to leave, and there'd be nobody left. So we'll have to think about that. So let's take a look at what those bulleted notes that they want us to look at. All right, so let's look at energy conservation. Harwich has been extremely active.
Where does it say energy? The first
The
one.
bulleted notes under there.
Okay.
So energy conservation. So our biggest partner in that is Cape Light Compact. And every month, you can go on their website and they publish the energy efficiency program activity for each town. And it will tell you like how many people they've served, blah, blah, blah.
Now, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Cape Light Compact sends me every month a statement saying that I spend the highest amount
Yeah, that's
in the world.
That's a publicity.
That's not true. I have solar panels, I'm
They
one
just-
person,
they
and
ju-
I'm
yeah.
extremely economic.
Right. They just look at how many kilowatts you're consuming. That's it. They don't. That's all they look at. We don't really care about that. This is the important thing right here.
Let me see
Is
it.
that, and that's available. So for example, cumulative. So for this year up to this point, they have 1,482 people have had energy audits.
I was one.
Yep. And
I had one too.
yep. So you're in that, and I don't know, saved
By the
over $1
way,
million.
We have to walk the talk, so if we're pushing for things, we have to do them as a committee ourselves.
Right, and we all have. I have, you have, Jacqueline has. All right, so that's not.
I mean, everything we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We have to be, if we're gonna push this stuff, we have to be advocates for it. We can't be saying everybody else does it, we're not gonna do it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So Cape Light Compact is our partner in energy efficiency and energy conservation. They also work very closely with the town. So for example, I didn't bring it. So the electric rates are going up because fuel is going up. So I think it's up to around almost 15 cents a kilowatt hour for residential. But the good news is the municipalities, they got a different deal. They got a longer contract. I think it's like a 10-year contract, and it's 8.9 cents per kilowatt hour. So the town is making out like a bandit when it comes to energy, electricity anyway. So as far as energy conservation, if we were to go on Channel 18 and talk about energy conservation, I think we would just promote getting an energy audit, from Cape Light Compact.
And solar panels.
And if you can afford them, solar panels. There's a lot of equity issues around solar. Because if you don't have disposable income, solar is never going to be an option. If you rent, solar is not an option. If you're in public housing, solar is not an option.
Well, I'm going to make a point of deepening what you're saying, because I understand that you can rent your roof.
If you own the house, yes, you can.
If you own your house, say you don't have enough money to
Right.
buy solar.
Yeah, yeah.
You rent your roof to someone,
Right.
and then you get some relief.
Yes, but even better than renting your roof, because if you don't own the building, you can't rent the roof,
Yeah.
is community solar, which I'm hoping the town can do. We have a place over on Queen Anne Road that we could put up a solar farm. And the energy from that solar farm could go to people who don't have solar on their roof. It's called community solar.
Terrific.
Is that the old
Terrific.
dog cemetery?
No, remember when we had to have that right-of-way zoning to be a green community?
Yeah.
It's that, it was, that land was designated back then. So anyway,
But that is super interesting. Could
Yeah.
you put it in writing so that we fully
Yes.
understand it?
yes, and we're trying to do it
Now,
here, but
don't-
there,
don't
you
they
can
have to
also
set the
sign
trees
up for
down?
community solar in other places, and I'll send you that information as well. So,
Valerie,
Yes.
don't they have to cut trees down next to the landfill there to get that solar? And that was what the issue was
I
there.
have no idea.
But you're talking here in Harwich.
Right.
I don't think it's the same thing, Charlie. I think the trees were somewhere else. I hope I'm not mistaken.
Right. So anyway, so I think it's,
And what about, for example, charging stations?
well, let's get to that in a minute,
Okay,
because I've got some information about that.
okay.
I'm just going through these bulleted notes here. So I think when I'm talking to the selectmen, I'm going to remind them that the bulk of the energy conservation programs for Harwich are going to be under the auspices of Cape Lake Compact,
Okay,
all right?
okay.
So let's drop down to where it says assessment of renewable energy use in town buildings and town transport. Emphasize transport. A couple of years ago, we became a green community. And I checked, and I guess we are doing what we're supposed to do, because you have to do certain things, you know, file reports and things like that to maintain your status as a green community. But you also have to make improvements every year. Like, you have to get greener. You can't just,
Okay.
all right? So my feeling, I went on the Cape Cod Commission website, and I looked at their climate action plan, and 58% of the carbon that's being produced on the Cape is transportation related. And most of that is cars.
Of course.
So that's a low-hanging fruit as far as I'm concerned. People in Harwich are not likely to buy an electric car because when they drive around, they can't see where they could charge, right? We don't have charging stations.
Valerie,
yes.
we should tell them that they need to maybe either get the money or the funding for putting charging stations like in all the big grocery stores, like Stop and Shop,
Yeah.
and the beaches in Harwich,
Yeah.
so that when people come from out of town,
Right,
they
right.
go to the beaches and the parking lots, and there are charging stations there. That kind of stuff encourages
Yep,
them to do that.
And there are programs available. So Massachusetts has a program called Mass EVIP that it doesn't pay for the whole thing, but it will pay some of what it costs to buy electric vehicles. Because I think what the town will have to do is become the example. I think part of our fleet should be electric.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, if
They
you
just bought I don't know, the fire department or the police
Yeah.
department, they just bought an old type of car.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So if you look at, this is the Massachusetts program.
Mm-hmm.
And so Barnstable, they've bought 2.
Mm-hmm.
Bourne's bought them. I just looked, Chatham's used it. Falmouth has done it. So, I mean, it's not like the Cape is not doing this.
They need to hear
Valerie,
that here.
I was at this All Cape Energy Committee, and on Martha's Vineyard, they have all electric buses out there now.
Right. You gotta start somewhere. And then Eversource has a program called the Make Ready program, which is, helps you put in the charging stations. So between a rebate from the state of Massachusetts for the actual cars and a rebate from Eversource for installing the charging stations, I think it's a doable thing.
I want to add something. This town is charging a very high tax on electric vehicles. Like if you're
It goes
driving,
by the cost of the car.
there's a relationship?
Yeah, so the more expensive your car, the higher the excise tax. And so most electric cars, of course, are
Expensive.
expensive. So if you bought a $40,000
Yeah,
Tesla,
yeah.
you're gonna be paying a really high excise tax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what about, for example, when I bought my solar panels, I got tax deductibility. I
Mhm.
got help.
Yeah, the federal government, this is municipal, the federal government still has it averages about $7,000 rebate
For electric vehicles?
for electric vehicles. So if your electric vehicle is like $40,000, $7,000 may not seem like much, but it's something.
Mhm.
But that's about as much as you're gonna get.
But that's history now.
Oh, no, that's still available.
Really?
Yep.
Here in
I-
Massachusetts?
Yep, I looked it up.
When? I mean,
Yesterday.
I'm buying an electric car
Yeah.
and I'm not getting any help from anybody.
So you need to.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah,
I'll bring it
yeah,
up.
yeah. Go on,
Maybe you get that on your income tax.
yeah, I think you can get it on your income tax.
You need
Well,
to
wherever.
figure out what you're doing
Yeah,
with your income
it's
tax.
on it,
Did
it
you buy
averages,
the car this year?
pardon, Charlie?
Did she buy the car this year?
Did you buy it this year?
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm buying it right now.
All right,
So
so
it's
the people
2020
selling you the car, they should, if they don't have all this information for you, I would question their knowledge. Because
Okay.
if they're selling you an electric car, they should be able to tell you every single thing that's available to you.
Okay.
And it may be on your income tax. You need to find that out before you finally sign the papers, okay?
Okay.
But if you just Google electric car rebate, and you'll get the federal rebate and the Massachusetts rebate. I think you'll get them from both. So, but you need to get all that paperwork squared
You
away.
probably have to file for it.
Probably, but she can figure that out.
Yeah, let's
So
move on.
here's my, I'm asking you, committee members, my recommendation to the Board of Selectmen for their next project is to really get on this electric vehicle thing.
Absolutely.
And to get some charging stations in, and to at least get a token electric car, you know,
Absolutely.
you know, and
Yes.
stop thinking that, anyway, that's gonna be my recommendation.
I fully support it.
Use as an example that all the other towns are doing this already.
Right, I can, and I have those towns,
And
and,
it's all available on the Cape Energy Committee stuff. They got all the notes in there are about how they're moving forward with these electric vehicles.
right. And if they wanna save money, they'll pay more to get the vehicle, but way less maintenance. They're gonna save a bundle on gasoline,
Right.
because you won't have to put gas in it anymore. And we know those costs go up and down. They're very volatile. So I think that's, to me, it's a tangible thing that is visible to the people that live here. If they see the charging stations, if they see a car that says Town of Harwich on it, and it's electric, you know.
And the tourists that come here
Yeah.
that drive an electric
Right.
vehicle already, they have where to charge it.
Exactly. I didn't, that's a good point. Tourism,
Accommodation of tourism. The
Okay.
world is changing.
right,
It
right.
also brings in tourists that are eco-friendly because they're
Exactly.
not polluting They're
Right.
not polluting and they're not adding to the carbon footprint. So you
Right.
want to encourage those kind of tourists.
And it's quieter.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, potential energy conservation, again, the town is working, they're working through their green communities, responsibilities. I think electric vehicles will help them meet some of their goals. They have to reduce their energy conservation, consumption, I think by 20% over a certain number of years. So, I mean, they have.
That's part of the requirement
Oh, yeah,
of
I
green
mean, they
communities?
have to do this. I mean,
Okay.
this,
Good.
our job is to show them that there are ways to do this, all
Okay.
right? I do not want to get involved in utility expenses. So if you look at the next bullet note, it says recommendations regarding utility expenses. I'm not,
I agree. That's too ambiguous as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned. It's too
Yeah.
It's way expands the scope of what
Yeah.
we're trying to do.
I'm not
here.
sitting down and looking at
And
our
we
electric
can't solve
bill.
all the world's
Yeah.
problems with nobody on
Yeah.
the committee.
Yeah, so I don't think that's anything that we're gonna be putting a lot of
Sounds good.
emphasis on. Education, outreach for climate change mitigation and adaptive strategies. That's something that I think might get us more members. Because I
Oh,
think there are
yes.
some people that,
Yes.
I mean, they may not be that interested in the ins and outs of electric vehicles and charging stations and, you know, that type of thing, but they can really get on board when it comes to education and outreach.
Do you know something in the Manawar High School that could,
I don't, but I can find out.
that would,
Yeah.
would be terrific, because I think the young people have to
Yeah.
be involved.
Yeah, I knew a
And-
teacher a couple of years ago that I worked with when I was a teacher.
And if
yeah.
they could do, the youngsters do something, you know, either a show, a piece of theater,
Yeah.
a song, or, I don't know,
Yeah.
even a party where they ask the town to come and, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
The other area that I have,
You need to show them what happens if you don't do this stuff to the water levels, to the climate,
Yeah.
and all these
Yeah.
bad storms.
Kids
that
pretty
we
much
have,
know
and-
that.
and show all this stuff, the pictures of all the storms and the hurricanes and everything else that's occurring because of the climate change. And
Yeah.
if you want to go back to the way it was when it was nice and calm and smooth, and you gotta cut down this carbon footprint.
Just checking the time.
well, I think, Charlie, that the youngsters are the most educated and motivated due to Greta Thunberg, the Swedish girl. My concern is people, you know, middle-aged, people who work 2 jobs and they continue, you know, throwing away and completely indifferent to their surrounding. Those are the people I would like to reach. So my venue has always been the library, but how? Someone who could lecture, you know, once a week or once a month, or I don't know. I don't know enough
think-
people.
Yeah,
Maybe there's an expert on the Cape that could
there are
come
many
and
experts on the Cape.
give
Yeah, we're told
lectures,
them.
and we could get them to, as part of a bunch of a lecture series or something, and put it on in the
Right.
library.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Electric
We,
series.
years ago, we tried this
Mm-hmm.
and nobody came.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Wow.
there was just a lot, but this is like maybe 8 or 9 years ago. Just wasn't a lot of interest in it. You know, a lot of people didn't believe it or didn't think it was anything that they had to worry about. But I think what gets, instead of a lecture series, which can be very dry, is, I agree with you, I think there has to be something fun where young people are getting together. And, you know, something around Earth Day where there could be an outdoor
Something.
event, you know, because we'll probably still have COVID with us. And, you know, where we are focusing on Harwich, you know, climate change and Harwich. Some of the towns, like the town of Orleans, for example, a couple of years back, they came up with a 30-year plan on how they were going to retreat at Nauset Beach. So they have plans of when they're gonna move this building and when they're gonna move that building and what they're gonna do with the parking lot. So it's not like they're not just reacting to a storm, they actually have a series of plans for retreat. Every
Yeah.
single town on Cape Cod has to have that same plan, you know. You go to Red River Beach, I mean, that beach only exists because they keep piling sand on it. You know, it's this wide, you know, they get the marsh over here, the Nantucket Sound over there, I mean, that's artificially maintained. And as sea level rises, that ocean's gonna come closer and closer to the parking lot, so.
I'm thinking that this series is something maybe we could do together with the Harwich Climate Change
Yes.
Network.
I was out on the Outer Banks in North Carolina last spring, and in Rodanthe, they're building a $145 million raised expressway over the bay because the whole Route 12 is washing out. And just recently, when there was another storm, it washed out again, and nobody could get from the north to the south on the Outer Banks because of that.
Right,
And
right.
it's
Well, that's
literally
gonna
all
happen
compensated.
everywhere.
They have to keep piling the dunes up to keep the road dry. And,
Yep.
and they're building an elevated highway all around the town just to get by from north to south.
Yep. So
$145 million worth.
right, so I think,
Yeah, that's another point for
Yeah.
you to tell
yeah,
the Board of
yeah,
Selectmen.
like, what are you gonna do?
If we don't take action,
Right.
we will have to spend tons down the road.
Right, right, so our beaches
In,
are,
in,
you know.
in
our
30 years, there's not going to be any Red River Beach.
Exactly, unless we make some plans for, retreat, you know, moving that parking lot or, you know, whatever. I do think that they are probably already looking at some of this because I know that there was some money available, for towns to like pick one or two roads in their town that are being impacted by, periodic flooding. So I don't know if, you know, so hopefully Harwich is participating in that and identifying roads that consistently get washover, like on high tides.
Valerie, they need to have some zoning restrictions so they don't allow people to rebuild houses that are right near the water. If you go down in Red River Beach and you look to the right, there's about a $2 or $3 million brand new house that's about a year old. They tore down the existing thing,
Right.
and I know the people that built it because their parents live on my street and they're doctors, and the house is almost unoccupied, but it's on stilts, but it's right down to the right.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
They should never allow that because that's going to be underwater.
So if you
That-
look
that
at the
doesn't make-
final bullet on our list here, it says, review the town bylaws to promote energy conservation and renewable energy use. I think they need to add the two, instead of just educating about mitigation and adaptive strategies, I think the town needs to be incorporating mitigation and adaptive strategies into their bylaws, not just talk about it.
Into the zoning, there has to be some kind of a zoning rules that says if you have a house on here, we're predicting it's going to be underwater in 30 years. You can't rebuild it.
Well, we
You
have some, you know, it's not, I mean, it's not quite that easy because a lot of the beach zoning also has state zoning laws that regulate it as well. So it's like we don't have a unilateral authority over it, you know, there's also some state rules and regulations that go in there. But I agree with you. I mean, that's the only, we gotta stop building there, you know, and we've gotta think about what we're gonna do with municipal property that is in harm's way. So that's our charge. They're all good things, but, just the three of us are not gonna get this done, and hopefully it'll be four of us
The
when
only,
Rosanna
the only
gets
way
here.
to get a big project done is first of all, you need a lot of people, and you need to divide it up and maybe have each person take a little piece of it because,
Right.
and to do it over time with like a Gantt chart where you say, well, we can't do this immediately, but if we had 7 people and we could assign 2 people to each of these bullets, and maybe over a 2 or 3 year period, we might be able to show some progress in these different things.
So my big recommendation for the right-of-way stuff is to look into getting some charging stations and getting some electric vehicles. And I think that's something that is doable. It helps them meet their green community obligations. It's good for tourism. It just makes sense. And other towns are doing it, so why are we being left in the dust here? Now, I'm sort of shifting gears a little bit, because we need to be done by 4, because that's when they lock up the building. So, so I talked to CVEC. Now, they're the organization that helped us put in the solar farm at the landfill.
What does the acronym stand for?
It's, Cape and Vineyard Electric Cooperative. Now, Liz Argo used to be the president there, but she's no longer with the organization. She's retired.
And you talked to her?
I have talked to her, but I talked to the new person. The new person is named Maria.
Maria what?
I can't pronounce her last name. That's her.
Marasco.
Maria Marasco. She's the new executive director. Now, here is an interesting thing. There is currently no representation from Harwich on CVEC. We used to have, what was his name? Owns the cranberry farm. I'll forget his name now. He's no longer on it. So she really was trying to get me to come up with somebody that could be on CVEC. They only meet 4 times a year, so it's not a big commitment. Not like a monthly thing, but there are some newer projects that they've just completed. So, for example, the Harwich, the golf course, they have a ground-mounted solar PV array that they hooked up and is since August of this year. So if you go up to the Cranberry Valley, they have a ground-mounted solar array there, and they also have in their golf cart barn, they have a roof-mounted solar for the golf cart barn, and I think they are trying to use all electric golf carts. Mm-hmm. Right, so those are fairly recent. Those are this year. Mm-hmm. Now, the good thing about having somebody on the CVEC board is that, you know, you are there when they announce projects, you know, you can get the information to the Board of Selectmen, you know, in a timely manner. Mm-hmm. But, so think about that. As far as that goes.
So you're going to prepare your final report?
Yeah, and I'll send it out. I'll come up with a final report. I will send it out to you, Charlie, and to Jacqueline, mm-hmm. you know, to look at. So in case I forgot something, or you know, you can make some suggestions, and then I'll send it into the.
Okay. Yeah. The last thing I want to make sure we did not refer to the old charges.
Because that's gone.
Of December 1995.
Yeah, that's gone.
Now we are referring to the November 2021.
Yes. So this is what they want us to go by now.
Yeah.
I believe that is all I wanted. So I'm also. After the holidays, I'm also going to get in touch with Jamie over at the Channel 18 and sort of brainstorm with her about some kind of like here's what's going on in Harwich with energy, you know, and then maybe we can piggyback that with the Climate Action Committee
Yeah.
and get the Climate Action Committee
Yeah.
to talk about,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
here's how climate relates to Harwich, because I think people tend to pay more attention. I mean, we know that the Arctic is melting, but it's hard to get people excited about that.
Yeah, no, it has
Yeah.
to be right here.
Has to be right here.
Yeah.
So I will get in touch with her after now I will be away from mid-January through mid-February. We're gonna be in Florida for a month, so. So I may try to squeeze in another meeting at the beginning of January, and then after I get back. Because I'd like to, if Roseanne does get voted on, I'd like to have a meeting with her
Absolutely.
before
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
So,
Valerie, I'm gonna be down in Florida the last 2 weeks in January too, so,
oh, cool. Where are you gonna be?
Longboat Key.
Me too. I'm gonna be in Longboat Key.
You're kidding.
No, we have friends that live.
I'm staying at the Beach Castle. I used to own a place on the Spanish Main Yacht Club. I owned it for 10 years down there,
Well,
but
my husband has a childhood friend. I mean, they've been close since kindergarten, and he owns a house there. But they like to take a winter vacation in Idaho because they have relatives there. They like to go skiing and all that kind of stuff. So they leave Florida for like a month or two in the winter. And so they just said, "Oh, come and use the house." So that's what we're doing.
Terrific.
Well, hey, good to know that, Charlie. Maybe I'll give you a call when we're down there.
okay.
All right, so I'm gonna let's see if we have our marching orders. I'm gonna come up with the Board of Selectmen report, and I will talk to Jamie at Channel 18 about some kind of TV interview thing. Charlie, you're gonna write up the minutes of this meeting, right?
Yes, I'll get it out to you the next couple of days, both of you.
Good, because I have to actually post those at some point. Then, and you will just continue to be our liaison with the Climate Action Committee. And keep them posted on what
Sure.
we're talking about and what we're
Sure.
doing. So, let's see. Let me take a look at the calendar. All right, so, January. Is there a day, okay, I'm looking at the first week in January, which is, Monday would be the 3rd, so the 3rd through the 7th of January. I have nothing scheduled for that Wednesday.
Wednesday is which
The
day?
5th?
The 5th?
Yeah.
What do I have on the 5th?
Just don't pick the Thursday because I got 2 things going on
Yep.
on the third.
Yeah, I have a,
What about tentatively the 4th? I need to check it.
okay, let me check.
What about tentatively, Charlie?
All right, it would have to be in the morning if it was the 4th, because I've got afternoon stuff all day. It's the 4th okay with you?
Yeah, the
Charlie?
4th's okay.
'Cause that's a Tuesday. So why don't we tentatively make it Tuesday, January 4th at, how about 10 a.m.?
Okay.
Sure.
Because I have stuff in the afternoon. And
Right here.
again,
Right here.
right here, it'll be same place.
Okay.
Again, Julie may or may not be able to join us because,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know, of
her work.
but hopefully.
When is the next selectmen meeting? Shouldn't the meeting
Monday.
be after?
It's
Shouldn't the
Monday.
meeting be
Okay, they're having a meeting on the 13th.
Of December?
Yep. They meet every Monday. I don't know about Christmas, I don't know about the 20th or the 27th. I'm not sure if they still meet those days.
When are you gonna be reporting to them? That's.
Oh, I'm gonna be reporting to them on the 3rd, January 3rd.
Okay, so that's good that the meeting will be after
Right.
you report, because we would need to know what they said
Yep.
to you when you reported. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying?
Yep, that's what,
One thing should follow the other. We shouldn't have the meeting before you report to them.
yep. So I report to them on the 3rd, and then we would meet on the 4th.
That's good.
That sound okay to you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
Now,
guys for hanging in
I-
there.
I would like to find a way of involving Julie Kavanaugh more consistently. Shouldn't we send her our
I sent
minutes?
her everything
Terrific.
already. You know, I
Terrific.
sent her everything.
Okay.
I always have her in the email
Okay,
loop,
okay.
so that's how
So-
she knows what we're doing.
Okay, so she's involved no matter
She's
what.
well, no matter what, even if she can't be here, she's got all the information, and if she feels like she needs, even if she can't be here, if she feels like she needs to tell us something, she'll send us an email.
Yeah, good,
So-
good.
So,
Did you know her?
I've known her for, she's been a selectman for a while, so yes, I've known her
Okay.
as a selectman.
Okay. But did she know you?
Yeah, she's been our liaison before.
I
Yeah.
see.
I interviewed her with her
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 years ago. When I
Oh,
did.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you know her.
Yeah, so we know
Yeah, because
her.
I sensed she was very relaxed, and I didn't know if it was her personality.
She's a pretty relaxed person, but yeah, I've worked with her before.
Okay,
you know.
yeah, okay, very well.
So Charlie, anything else that we need to know from your end of it?
No, I think that's fine. We can't bite this whole thing off immediately, and you have
Yeah.
to stress that this is going to take time.
Absolutely.
Once we get the members, it'll take time.
Yes.
We can't even come up with a plan we need to put a Gantt chart with some dates on when we're going to, and maybe it's years out. The
Yep,
plan
yep.
here to meet all these agenda items here, it's not going to happen in the next 3 weeks or something like
Oh,
that.
I don't think that they expect that either, so. All right, so we're gonna, let's say the meeting is ending at 3:50. Yep, there's a clock up there too. And, you can send us the notes and we'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right, Charlie? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. All righty, and I just gotta push the off button here.